Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. You may have seen an amusing story on the news over the last few days about a zoo in China where of the animals on display they have bears, particularly sun bears. And one of the sun bears, people are saying they don't think it's a bear at all. They think it's a man dressed up in a bear suit. And when you look at some of the photographs or videos from particular angles, it does actually look like that, the way the folds of skin are hanging off. It looks like a man in a suit. But then other times you watch a video of it, and the animal will at one point look like a man in a suit, but then it'll drop down into another posture, and you see very clearly it's moving like a bear, and it'd be very hard for a human being to imitate that. Now I've looked around on the internet. There are actually photographs of the same kind of bear taken back going years in different zoos, where their fur and their skin does hang off them in big wrinkles like an ill-fitting suit. Also, a sun bear is not very tall. I mean, the tallest they're known to grow is about 4 feet tall. Usually they're about two and a half feet tall. So it would need to be a dwarf that was in that suit. And plus at that time, the temperature in the zoo, because of the heat waves that's going on around the world, the temperature was actually 40 degrees centigrade. And, you wouldn't be able to get anyone to stand in a bear suit in 40 degrees centigrade for more than a few minutes without them fainting. So pretty certain that it is a bear, but it does look remarkably like a man in a suit sometimes. The world of nature is weird and wonderful. God's creation, he's created such an amazing variety of animals. Now, one of the reasons why people are sort of toying around with this idea is because zoos have done that kind of thing before. In fact, there was another zoo in China, in Henan, back 10 years ago, and they dressed up a dog as a lion. They got this big dog, a Tibetan Mastiff dog, and put a fake mane on it and displayed it as a lion. And the visitors were walking around the zoo not aware of this, thinking they were seeing a lion. And it was actually the parent of a young child that discovered the hoax, because the parent's walking the child through, and the mother's saying to the child, as you do with young children, pointing at the different animals, what noise does this animal make? Not what noise does that animal make? And the mother pointed at the lion and said, what noise does the lion make? And the child went roar, and the lion looked at the child and went woof, and pretty soon everyone realized it was a dog dressed up as a lion. Now, the zoo's excuse was that they did have a lion, but the lion was off seeing the vet and they didn't want people to be disappointed, so just for a short period of time they dressed up a dog to make it look like a lion, which is pretty remarkable when you stop to think about it. Now, actually, there's another instance in 2018 of a zoo in Cairo in Egypt who displayed a donkey as a zebra. And it's quite obvious. I mean, zebra stripes are really clean and precise, between the white and the black stripes. And you get this donkey with these stripes painted on it that are really blurred. And in fact, at one point, the black paint got all smudged all over its face. So it's quite obviously, the zoo insisted it was a zebra, but it's quite obviously a donkey painted to look like a zebra. But the people in the Cairo Zoo insisted, no, you're making false accusations against us. Now what's all this got to do with our Christian faith? Well, quite simply, it comes down to this. There's something that we deal with sometimes in life called flattery. And flattery is whenever people actually try to make you feel better, and they might be trying to curry favor with you or something else, but they make you out to be better than you really are, or to be something that you're not. And sometimes because we feel flattered, because we're like to be told we're cleverer or better looking or whatever than we really are, we go along with it and we start believing it. But then we only end up looking foolish. We end up looking like a donkey painted to look like a zebra. So we need to really avoid flattery. Don't flatter other people, and don't accept flattery from people. The Bible actually says that flattery comes from the lips of a fool, and that flattery is something that is actually dangerous. And so we need to avoid flattery. Don't let people flatter you. If people are saying things about you, saying you're nicer than you really are, you're cleverer than you really are, you're better than you really are, even if it makes you feel a bit good inside, don't go along with it. You know, it's not false humility to say, well, actually, no, I'm not the cleverest person in the world. I'm not a great singer. I'm not this, I'm not that. If people want to build you up to be that, you know, that's their foolishness, but you don't have to participate in that kind of foolishness. The person who thinks too much of themselves doesn't think enough. And so let's have a sober and realistic understanding of who we are. We're not the cleverest people in the world. We're not the smartest people in the world. I'm not the best looking person in the world. But I am somebody who might be quite ordinary, but whom God can use. And that's what really matters. And so faith in God is what we need to hold on to, and flattery can be no substitute for that. God bless you today in Jesus' name. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.